Well, hello, Mr. Tony. Thank you for joining us at World at War Comics. Really appreciate you giving us the time. How you doing today, Tony?
I'm good, Thomas. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Good morning to all your fans.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm also a big fan of you and what you're doing at Advent Comics. So I thought
Thank you.
maybe, yeah, of course. I thought maybe we could kind of jump in and maybe
Let's
start from the
go.
beginning, Tony.
Sure.
Yeah,
I've been a lifelong comic fan.
yeah,
Started reading comics, actually looking at the pictures because I would follow my brother and my older cousin along, and they
yeah.
love comics. And they would never let me read comics with them. So when they would go outside and play ball, I'd sneak in and read their comics. So I've been reading comics since I was about 5 or 6, and I've loved them ever since.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Did you have a favorite growing up?
oh man, did I? Back then, early '70s, I used to like the Spider-Man books. Of course, Spider-Man was my favorite as a kid.
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't get into DC Comics until like grade school, till
Hmm.
I was maybe like about 9 or 10,
Yeah.
and then I started reading Superman, the Legion of Superheroes, Justice
Yeah.
League. Those are my favorite. Secret Society, supervillains.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite Teen Titans. Those are my favorite titles back when I started getting into DC. But Marvel, Spider Man,
Yeah.
X Men, of course.
Yeah.
I just love comics, man. I love.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love them too. I grew up more of a DC fan, but Spider-Man was always my favorite comic.
Yep.
So he was my number one. I think the Saturday morning cartoons helped out a lot. Justice
Yep.
League Saturday morning helped out a
Yep.
lot. But
Superman. Yeah,
yep.
it was never a Saturday without the old '60s Amazing Spider-Man. Is the
Yeah.
comic, the cartoon I grew up on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they redid it with the Spidey friends.
Yeah.
I've loved Spider-Man my whole life.
Yeah.
He,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's probably the best hand. I know Superman fans, Batman fans will get mad, but Spider-Man, something about him
Yeah.
resonates with every single genre and person. So, I
Yeah.
mean, no matter what comics you like, Spider-Man resonates.
I think so. And I think he's probably the most relatable of most of the
Yeah,
superheroes. So
he's an every guy, every
yeah.
man character, and
Yeah.
you see a lot of yourself in Peter. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Agree. Well, very good, Tony. So I think that what I'd like to know is how did you come to the decision to create Advent Comics?
Okay. Well, like everyone, I love comics. I always thought about maybe getting into the industry. Never took it seriously.
Yeah.
Life took me in other directions. Uh, so back in, I think it was like '99, 2000,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere around there. Marvel had this thing they were doing called Epic. Epic. It was like an imprint where they were looking for writers and such.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, you cannot submit to Marvel. But back then, they wouldn't let people
Yeah.
put in submissions. So
Mm-hmm.
I dusted off some stuff I wrote a long time ago, fan fiction stuff, sent it in, and it got kind of good reviews, but it
Yeah.
didn't make it anywhere. So I was like, hey, you know what? We'll put that on the back burner.
Yeah.
A few years down the line, my wife and I had went to celebrate our anniversary out in San Diego, and the actor Tyrese, who does Fast and Furious
Yeah. Oh yeah.
movie, he was at our hotel. And he was like, "Are you guys going to?" We met him at the bar up on the 65th floor, and he was like, "You
Mm-hmm.
guys going to Comic Con?" I was like, "Nah, I would love to. I've never been." He's like, "Well, come on through." He got us into Comic Con.
That's awesome.
Watched him at his booth, and took pictures with him. Pictures still up on Facebook to this day.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let me walk around. My wife, she's not a real comic book fan, but she tolerates it because of me.
Yeah.
So, she did some walking around, I did some walking around, and I just
Yeah.
started talking to different creators and vendors. And I was like, man, I've always wanted to be in comics. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And I went to one of the panels, because the ticket he gave me, I could come back the next day. So I went back, went to one of the panels, and they were talking about self-publishing and getting into the comic industry, and now what's the time. And I didn't know at the time that comics were $1 billion business.
Yeah.
This was in 2009, and I'm like, wow, okay. And the wheels started rolling. the urge started coming around. And then I talked to a couple of the pros after the panel. And by the time I was going home, I was like, I'm going to start my own comic book company. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to do this. So I dusted off all those stories, including the one that I had submitted tomorrow that did pretty good. And that story ended up turning into Cosmos.
Ah, okay.
So basically, from that moment, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then, like I said, I put out a comic, my lifelong dream, I'll be fulfilled. And surprisingly, people resonated with the first book. The first
Yeah.
book was a 80-page graphic novel called Pandemonium Evil Incarnate.
Oh, okay.
And it's so pretty good. I mean, mind you, I did not know anything about comics.
Yeah.
And looking back on it as from today's work, it kind of showed a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, I told myself that I had two goals. I said, if it works,
Hmm.
I'm going to lay the groundwork for the next book. If it doesn't work, I'll say I did a comic.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I put so many plots and stories into this one book. It was more like an anthology more than a regular graphic novel.
Hmm.
But I had laid out basically what was to become the Advent universe in that
Yeah.
one book.
Hmm.
And people actually bought it, and it sold really well. And I was like, okay, I might be onto something. So the next year, I released the 100-page follow up to that called Champions of Hope.
Hmm.
That did even better. I'm like, oh, we might be on something. And then that's where everything just took off.
Yeah.
So 14, August 1st makes 14 years. And 14 years later, we're still going strong.
Yeah.
Um, we're selling in 54 different countries. And that was before Diamond,
Yeah.
before we hooked up with Diamond. So we're blessed to be doing some things.
Yeah. It
And
sure
then,
sounds like it.
yeah. So
Well,
next year, when I retire from working, I'm going to be doing comics full time. So we'll take it even further, hopefully.
yeah. Well, I don't know how you find time for all the writing that you do, Tony, because there's a lot of comic books on your website. And if you're writing a lot of those, I don't know how you do it with a job and all the writing that you're doing. It's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you, sir. Like I said, Cosmos was a story that I had written. I'm a
Hmm.
big 70s cosmic comics fan.
Yeah.
So Starlin, Kirby, the
Yep.
New Gods, Captain Marvel, stuff
Yeah.
like that was my wheelhouse.
Hmm.
So I had wrote a story back then surrounding Adam Warlock.
Hmm.
So started Advent. I said, well, let me change this up a little bit. The story was really good.
Yeah.
And a couple of people who read it tomorrow were like, oh, it's pretty good, but we're going in another direction with the character. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. So I tweaked it a little bit and I said, I got to use this character.
Yeah.
So the very first page of the very first book I did was a lead into Cosmos. Because I was like, one way or another, I'm going to get this story done. And so the very first page of the book, it's a character who appears and it's a lead into that.
Mm.
And so I wrote everything. I still am the head writer on most of the books.
Yeah.
And it is hard because I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm a career firefighter and paramedic. So I work my work schedule is crazy.
Yeah.
During the week, I'm working 24 to 40 hours straight.
Hmm.
So my wife used to tease me. She was like, if I see one more notebook or spiral binder with papers and notes in it, I'm like, no, those are my writings or the different titles that I had in mind. I was like, can't
Yeah.
mess. But yeah, I still write. I have come to the point now where I have a couple of people who actually are writing stories for me now.
Yeah.
So things have gotten so big, and
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm thankful that I'm able to divert my attention to the business side, and
Hmm.
I have three people who actually write. Like Aaron Mead writes a book we have called Dark Light and Crew, which is an ode to those 70s cosmic stories.
Yeah.
I have another writer, Leon Mathis. He's going to be working on a title that has not been revealed yet, but he's
Okay.
working on it now.
I'll have to keep
And
a lookout for that one.
yep. And I have one more writer, and I can't mention who he is yet either, but he is someone that people kind of know.
All right. So that's awesome.
Yeah, but for the most part, I'm still writing a good 80% of everything Advent puts out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that kind of leads me into Titan Marcus.
Mhm.
He also was a firefighter. Is that
Yep.
character built off of Mr. Tony?
Parts of it are. Parts
Yeah.
of it are. It's it's not a autobiography, but
Yeah.
the character is related. He is related. So, and
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because my coworkers in the fire department, they
Yeah.
tease, but they all want to be in Titan. So
They're like, can
some
you
of the
throw my name in there somewhere, Tony?
yeah, some of the characters that you see, like Marcus's coworkers, are my actual firefighter comrades.
That's
So
awesome, man.
yeah, and it's gotten to be a big thing that other firefighters and paramedics, they're like, "Hey, you got to put me in the story." Some of the police officers who I work with were like, "Hey, can you throw me in?" So I threw one or two police officers in there too. So anyone that you see that's in Titan as a supporting character, it's 9 times out of 10, it's a real person who wants to be.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love doing what I do, and I guess hopefully it shows that I'm still having fun with this, and that the boyish childhood dreams are
Yeah.
coming true. So I
Hmm.
love this, and I'm so thankful that the fans have responded positively to what we're doing in that.
Yeah.
So
That's
I,
awesome, Tony. So obviously, from what it sounds like, Advent Comics really came out of just your passion for comics. And I
yep.
asked that because I didn't know if you maybe saw a gap in the industry and you said, man, I could really feel that gap with some of the things that I've written before and that desire to bring back that kind of old school 70s, 80s style of comic book. I don't know if that is relatable at all.
Yes, and actually, it's two parts to that.
Okay.
One, Milestone Media had just kind of went away, maybe about
Yeah.
not 10 years before,
Yep.
and there was a void.
Yeah.
And the characters who look like myself were
Yeah,
few.
yeah. Icon. I mean,
Exactly.
he's
In fact,
probably one of the
Icon
most
already
powerful
there.
superheroes in the DC
Yeah,
universe, right?
exactly. So they had went away for a while,
Yeah.
and there was a void that
Yep.
people who look like myself were
Yeah.
yearning for characters to look like them. So I
Sure.
said, okay, I can do two things. I can fill that void, and I can also bring a type of storytelling, because back in the 2000s, everything was dark and gritty.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
while my first book was dark and gritty, it was done to reach the people who were looking for that.
Right.
I wanted to bring back not not so much as old comics, but
Hmm.
the I want to mesh old and new, and I
Yeah.
want to bring heroes back,
Yeah.
true
Yeah.
heroes back.
Yeah.
So that was my goal. Not every book has a hero. I have
Yeah.
anti-heroes, I have villains, but
Yeah.
I want to bring back true heroes that
Yeah.
they held a certain, I guess, code, you might say.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of that, and like I said, it resonated with people.
Yeah.
They liked it, and we're going to keep going with it.
That's awesome, Tony. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I remember, and this happened a little bit later, but I mean, Static Shock had a Saturday morning cartoon that I remember watching as well. And then all of a sudden, I think Milestone really did kind of take a back seat, especially when DC got involved. And it seems like they're trying to bring back some of those characters now. The rumor is that they've been working on a Static Shock movie. So I don't know how far along they are on that, if they've casted anybody for that role. But, hopefully there'll be a comeback because those characters were incredible. In fact, I just picked up the Compendium that just was released, I think, last year, if I'm not mistaken. And it's
Yeah,
everything that Milestone put together.
yeah. Milestone came back, and their new stuff has been just as great as the stuff I grew up with
Yeah,
back early 2000s. So I'm so glad that they're back. And like I said, it was never to replace Milestone, but it was just to fill a need
sure.
that the fans were looking for.
Yeah.
And so that Milestone is back. I picked up everything they have. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, I am a true fan. At heart,
Yeah.
I'm a fan. And
Yeah.
I love comics of all types. So not only do I read comics, I support comics. Um,
Yeah.
I stay on Kickstarter and supporting new artists
Yep.
because I love comics. I just
Yeah.
love comics.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. And, really this program that we're putting together is really to highlight mainly independent creators and artists, because I do think a lot of the creation that's taking place in comics today is
It's
coming from
from
the
indie
independent
comics.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah, the indie comic
yeah,
side.
you hit it 100% on the head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that your show and other shows like yours are highlighting these people because there's some amazing books,
Yeah.
amazing that
Yeah.
pardon my French because I have friends at Marvel and DC. When I say
Sure.
this,
Yeah.
these indie books are better than what they're putting out,
I
but
agree.
people just don't know it. People don't
Yeah.
see some of the amazing creations and the art and the stories. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is the spot.
Yeah.
This is the college football
Exactly.
of comics.
It
This
really
is
is,
where
man. It's the
everything takes
hotbed,
place.
right? It's the hotbed of
Exactly,
comics.
exactly. So I'm so pleased to be in this industry and to be among these talented people. And
Yeah.
like I said, I try to support them whenever I see them, and I see a good project, I'm
Yeah.
backing or I'm promoting them because
Yeah.
I just love it. I love comics.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, Tony. I, as a big DC fan, I've been obviously following a lot of those comics, and I've noticed over the last couple years, and I don't know if it's, let me back up a little bit. I think it's very difficult when you're dealing with the Wonder Woman, with the Superman, to come up with something fresh
Right.
around those heroes, right? So I don't want to obviously poo-poo on what they're doing with those characters, because I can only imagine having a character that's 80 years, 90 years old, trying to think of something new for that character to be involved in, to be fresh. So I do
Yep.
want to give them that. But
Yep.
that also leads to a lot of stale stories that aren't very capturing. And I think a lot of people are seeing that. And I do think that's why the indie scene is really where it's at. Some of the stories that are coming out, obviously Advent Comics, but you could go into a lot of the other indie comic companies, and they're putting out some amazing stories that are just so different and so captivating that I do think that's what's driving a lot of the indie success.
Yep. You said another statement that's 100% on the nose.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are so many different ideas that
Yeah.
are coming out of the indie
Yeah.
market, indie realm. Well, DC, like you said, they have 80, almost 90 years of history.
Yeah.
But another thing I'm gonna add to this, and like I said, this is gonna probably get me in trouble with a lot of fans. DC's problem
Mm-hmm.
is a very easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
DC has over 5,000 characters, but yet they focus on
Yeah.
five. They focus on five.
Yeah.
Focus, dude, and they can easily do what Marvel did, and Marvel start to focus on some of their D-list characters because they
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a choice at the time. But they brought those characters in, they cultivated them, made them fresh, and the
Yeah.
people responded to them.
Yeah.
With so many characters that DC has, there is no reason that people don't know who Plastic Man is,
Yeah.
or they don't
Exactly.
know who
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific in the Terrific store, JSAR.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have so much wealth of potential, and even if you want
Yeah.
to get away from superheroes,
Yeah.
you got the Constantine stuff.
Oh
And the
yeah.
characters
Yeah.
in that area. You got they try to do something with Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much that DC has available to them
Yeah.
that they can use. I mean, they have every genre imaginable and marketable characters. They
Yeah.
can do an Omega Man movie or
Yeah.
show. People like Star Wars, or they can do sci-fi stuff. They can do
Yeah.
sport and sorcery. So there's
Yeah.
no reason to focus on the Trinity all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I
that's
agree
just
with
my
you.
opinion. Please, fans, don't get too mad at me, but this is my
Yeah.
opinion. I see. I love comics so much. I see ways that DC can improve, and
Yeah.
I see ways that Marvel can improve. So,
Yeah. Agree.
that's out of love. That's out of love.
It's out of love, Tony. And I think a lot of comic fans of DC and Marvel would agree, especially as you get a little bit older and you remember reading a lot of those characters, and you're not seeing them being developed over the last,
Mhm.
10 to 20 years. And it's such a shame because Plastic Man and some of those other characters that you mentioned, right there, they have so much potential and they're just not being tapped into.
So much potential.
And
Yeah.
and I do think that when you see them focusing on that Trinity so much, it is a sign that maybe things aren't as healthy as we would like them to be. And therefore, they put all their eggs in that basket, hoping that they could kind of drive something that will create some success. And that, as a DC fan, right, that hurts a little bit.
And I understand that primarily, well, for the big two,
Yeah,
it's a business, and even with
yeah,
Advent, at the end of the day,
100%.
it's a business.
Yep.
So they're marketing what brought them to the dance,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
also at the same time, you can't put out 7 Batman movies, 7 Batman cartoons all at the same time
yeah,
and give fans some variety.
yeah,
With every one Batman movie, put out a Far Sector or put out
yeah.
a Teen Titans. I mean, there are things that they tried to do
Hmm.
that start to get some heat, like with the Titans TV show.
Sure. Yeah,
That
yeah.
people were like, oh, something new, something different.
Hmm.
Okay, so they picked up on that. So
Yeah.
they have things they can do. It's just a matter of putting the resources behind them to make them as big of a success as their Trinity.
Yeah. 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 No, good point, Tony. Good point. Well, hopefully we'll start to see some new things from them, because I do think it helps the whole industry, because those type of companies, the big two, when they do have success, right, it draws in new
Rising tide. Yeah.
consumers, right? It brings in new people that want to understand comics a little bit more, that maybe didn't grow up with them like you and I
Yep.
did. And so
Yep.
I think there's a lot of benefit to the rest of us when they're successful.
Yep. Yep. The comics industry as a whole is a rising tide.
Yeah.
Big two bring up the medium companies. I'll say big three, include Image in that
Yeah.
too.
Image you got
Bring
thrown
up
there, right? Yeah.
they bring up the medium companies who bring up us smaller companies, and
Yeah.
who we also try to bring up those behind us.
Sure.
So everyone, it's a community. Everyone profits when DC and Marvel does good, and
Yeah.
everyone gets a benefit from it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't wish them harm. Actually, I want them to succeed, because the people who like DC and Marvel superheroes might say, "Oh, okay, this is little Advent comics. Let's see what their superheroes are like." So they'll try
Yeah.
my stuff. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm up behind the industry 100%.
Yeah.
I just want us all to win, and
Yeah.
I think we got a good shot at it.
I think so.
Advent's putting out some good stuff, and some of the other companies around are putting out good stuff. So
Yeah.
now it's a new golden age for comics right now, especially with the
Yeah.
Advent crowdfunders and Kickstarters.
Yeah.
It's amazing right now. It is
Yeah.
so amazing.
I agree with you. Well, Tony, maybe we could jump into Cosmos, because
Oh,
I
sure.
think Cosmos, right, is probably the one title right now that is really tying in the entire Advent universe. And
Yes.
so I got 1 through 5, and I know
Awesome.
that 6, I believe, is about to launch. And then we have a Kickstarter on issue 7 that will also launch, I think, on the 23rd of January, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly, right?
Yes, 6 is fulfilling, and I actually am almost finished fulfilling 6.
Okay.
And on Monday, issue 7, ta-da, which is already done. I don't know if your readers can see this, but issue 7 is already here.
Your
And
camera is not on, Tony. I can't
oh,
see.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I didn't know it wasn't on.
That's all right. I didn't know if you didn't want it on, so that's fine.
No. Okay. Well, I have issue 7 and
Uh-huh.
issue 8. They're already printed, already fulfilled.
Nice.
So what we're going to do is we're immediately going to go, if 7 is successfully funded, we're going to go directly into issue 8, and we're going to fill that one. And once that one's done, hopefully that will bring us into the final section of the 12 issue miniseries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it gets big. Issues 9 and up are
Yeah.
all like 40 pages, 48
Oh,
pages
wow.
to finish out the story. So I think fans, they've been receptive to what we've been doing. They
Yep.
like it. So what? And it's not big surprise. But Cosmos does bring in all the Advent characters into one maxi series,
Yep.
but it also does something else. It introduces Advent to the comic industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Now we have over 100 indie comic guest appearances from big and small creators, big and small publishers.
Hmm.
Um, we've had characters like uh, Dark Horse, Mike Barron, Steve Rude's Nexus. We've had
Hmm.
characters like Concrete Comics, Acolyte, Wingless Comics, their Justice character, Digital Webbing's Fist of Justice. I mean,
Hmm.
we've had a lot of co-stars and guest stars in this one book so far.
Yeah.
We have Big Bang Comics, their Roundtable of America, Gallant Comics, Amazing Man. We've had some small companies that most people probably even heard of, Punt Press, the
Yeah.
Celtic Clan, the
Mm.
Globalists. I mean, so we've been reaching around the comic industry, putting together one story and bringing in all these different guest stars of different magnitudes, and hopefully people are liking what we're doing. But it really starts
Yeah.
to get wild and big at issue 7. Issue 7 and up is when we kick the guardrails off, and it just goes another level. We
That's
take it like
awesome. I can't wait to get to issue 7, Tony. I do love it. I don't think people realize, at least me, didn't realize the breadth of Advent comics as far as the characters that live within your universe. And then you get into Cosmos, and it's mind blowing to see what you've built over the last 14 years.
thank you.
And I can't wait to get into issue 7 and on.
Thank you. And it was kind of a stretch because what I like saying is anything's possible at Advent. And
Mm.
we have pretty much every genre you could think of. Now, I don't do too much hardcore stuff. And if I
Mhm.
do, there are like 2 titles that we have, and they are for mature readers, but I won't do the girl stuff or
Yeah.
too much. Anything beyond R rated, I won't do because there are a
Right.
lot of kids who read our books.
Sure. Sure.
I
I
just
agree with
want,
you. Yeah. Yeah.
but to mesh all those different genres, it was a task, but
Yeah.
we managed to do it. I mean, we have comics that range from war to religion to sci-fi to street drama,
Yeah.
and all these characters
Yeah.
so far, knock on wood, we've been able to mesh inside of Cosmos and make it all appealing. So I'm just blessed that people are liking it, and
Yeah.
they keep coming back for more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Southside would fall into that, right?
Yes, yes. Southside is a mature title,
Yep.
and that's more of a John Wick
Yeah.
kind of diehardish kind of title. If you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
manly action and pulp and street fisticuffs, shooting guns,
Yeah.
violence,
Yeah.
ultra
Yeah.
violence,
Yeah.
Southside's for you. And issue
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
of Southside is being finished now.
Oh,
Um,
that's excellent. That's
yeah,
excellent. I
so
can't wait.
that's coming soon. That's coming soon.
Very cool. No, I really enjoyed that one as well. So
Thank you, thank you.
very good. So the current state of the comic book industry, where do you see it at from your perspective?
Oh man, okay.
And I say that, Tony, let me just preface because,
Okay.
we just got the news of Aftershock going into chapter
Yeah,
11. We see
yeah,
IDW struggling a little bit. They've lost a
yeah.
couple of the Hasbro brands. I don't know if that's a sign of anything or maybe that's just
It,
something
no,
separate.
it's rough. I sighed because I was just gonna just lay it all on the line as
Yeah.
far as I see it.
Yeah.
It's the best of both worlds right now.
Yeah.
While there are a lot of struggles that people don't see, and
Yeah.
as the company you named, they're too. As a matter of fact, even Evan's not immune to it.
Yeah, sure.
We had a printer that we were using. We use multiple printers for multiple things.
Okay.
And I'm speaking on the business side now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to keep costs down, I had contracted out with a local printer to print some of our books.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 4 of my titles, my personal titles,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of my creator-owned titles they got jammed up because
Mm.
the company, the printer we were using, they went out of business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I had like a total of 6 books that didn't come out
Mm.
because they went out of business. Much
Yeah.
less the money that I put up front to get those books printed.
Sure.
So it was a struggle. Like I said, times are hard for everyone right now.
I agree. Yep.
Comic companies are no different.
Hmm.
I hope that Aftershock and Boom and
Yeah.
uh, IDW and all the
Hmm.
other printers and publishers can bounce back because I
Agree.
know we all are having our struggles. Even Marvel and DC are having a little bit of struggles too, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. No,
Um,
agree. Agree. Yep.
like I said, I hope they can bounce back.
Yeah.
Uh, now it's a little rough. It's a
Hmm.
little rough, but I have faith in the comic market as a whole
Yeah.
that this is just temporary.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will bounce back because, as you see, books on Kickstarter are still doing well. You
Yep.
have
Exactly.
comics as a industry are still grossing $1 billion plus a year.
Sure.
So there's not there's not much that can be done with the current problems we have other just to ride it out. But I
Yeah.
think the market itself has such foundation that it can
Yeah.
survive. And I just hope that Advent can stay right here along
Hmm.
with it when things bounce back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all hope the same thing, Tony. And I agree with you. When you look at Kickstarter and some of the success around, new creators on Kickstarter getting supported by fans, there is proof that I think people are looking for something a little bit different.
Yep.
And that does provide hope, especially for the indie side of the business. I
Yep.
do think that the time for the indie is now. And
It
I
is.
think it's because people are maybe a little burnt out of seeing the
Yep.
same story being played over and
Over and
over
over.
again. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, this is definitely the age of indie comics.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
there's so much you can find. You can find any conceivable story in the indie realm, including superheroes.
Yeah.
And indies are doing it, as I said earlier,
Yeah.
just as good, and if not better in some
Agree.
circumstances, Marvel and DC and Image.
Yeah.
No,
No, I
no,
agree
no
with you.
flight to those guys. Just a massive amount of talent that's out here right
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Tony, what is the biggest struggle that you experience being an owner of a comic book company? And then on the flip side, what is the most rewarding thing that you've experienced over the last 14 years?
now. I'm going to give you one or two of the biggest headaches
Yeah.
right now. This is a personal gripe. We are in my biggest headache time because from December to February, maybe like the
Uh,
first week of February, is I'm in full owner publisher mode. So
okay.
I'm doing W-2s, 1099s. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get end of year paperwork done. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
People are like, I didn't know you had so many people working for you. You had so much going on. I'm like, yeah. So this time of year is a headache. So
Yeah.
that's my personal pet peeve. This time of year, I hate this time of year. But no, the biggest, I guess the biggest gripe, I won't say gripe, but the biggest thing I think that the industry could benefit from. Mm, the biggest thing that I think the industry can benefit from is more more solidarity. And when I say
Mm,
solidarity, I mean as far as us publishers treating our our co-creators, our artists, our
mhm.
ink, our colorists, and letterers, graphic designers with more respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not singling anyone out. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that as a whole, this industry is a community first, and
Yeah.
it took me a while to get that coming from the outside in. It wasn't until I was actually in the industry and I
Mhm.
saw how it functioned how it lived and it
Yeah.
breathed, that I realized that it's a community first.
Hmm.
And we should always try to look out for one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes we don't do that. And to me only,
Hmm.
that is one of the things that I personally don't like as much. And I wish I could
Yeah.
change. And I'm doing things on my end to try to
Yeah.
change slowly but surely. But I'm one person. But I feel if we all pitched in, we could make it a little better.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
a converse side of that, one of the things that I love about this industry is that it is a community.
Yeah.
And people, other co-creators, publishers, they will come and support you. Um, and it's just the camaraderie that's behind the scenes that's amazing. And not a lot of people get to experience and see that. That a lot of people think that the industry is all competition. It's competition to a point, but there
Sure.
are a lot of friendships
Yeah.
that are made at other companies. Like I'm
Mhm.
friends with a lot of different publishers
Yep.
behind the scenes. I have friends at Marvel, DC, who I've
Yeah.
met through this industry.
Sure.
So it's a community. I love it. One of the things also I love about doing comics is that I'm able to bring a book that I created to fans and
Yeah.
stores and different outlets, and to have someone pick up that book and read it and say, "Hey, I liked what you did."
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
me, that means so much.
Yeah.
I never get tired of hearing that. That you put a smile on someone's day, or you entertain someone just for a brief second. They thought something that you did was cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. For sure.
that means the world. That means the world to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, Tony. Well, Tony, I mean, those are all the questions that I think I have for you for today, Tony. I want to be respectful of your time. I think maybe just in closing, Tony, what is new that fans should know about Advent Comics that you're able to share, and what can we help with? I know we mentioned the Kickstarter for issue 7, which is launching on Monday, the 23rd. Anything else that you want the fans to know that we could get behind and ensure that we're part of the success of Advent Comics?
Sure, sure. We're going to come at you in 2023 on all levels and all platforms.
Nice.
Starting on this Monday coming up,
Mm-hmm.
there is a Kickstarter for Cosmos 7. And also in that Kickstarter, you can get all of the back issues, Cosmos 1 through 6. Right now, there are 3 tie-in books that will be available as well as
Nice.
a Cosmos 70-page Cosmos handbook that contains some of the characters from not only Advent but other publishers who are appearing in the story as
Yeah.
well. So you can get that. If you want to sign up for the Cosmos 7 Kickstarter, you can do so. Or you can just go to the page. I'll give you a link if I can.
Yeah, please, and I'll put it on this
Okay.
YouTube for sure. Yep, I'll share it with everyone.
It's a uh, bit.ly/Cosmos 7.
Okay.
That will take you directly to the page. Like I said, you can sign up now. You can use that to sign up now, or you can
Mhm.
use it on Monday to actually take you to the Kickstarter support. We're not asking for a lot for this book. The book, like I said, is already done. I have copies in my hand.
Yeah.
It's already ready. We're just trying to figure out how many copies to print in order to get them out to you. We got some great rewards as well. We have Cosmos gift boxes. We have other books. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much available. So you guys can check that out. Also on that front, we're also going to be giving you more books at your local comic book shops,
Yeah.
so you can see that. We have creator-owned titles in our Unbound Realms imprint line,
That's right. That's right.
and you can see the first title of 2023 coming from Jonathan Hedrick.
Mm-hmm.
He did the recount through another publisher, and he did some amazing stuff. He has a book that we're bringing to market called Capable, and he showed it to me years ago.
Yeah.
and I loved the book, but
Yeah.
I never added him to the Advent roster because I felt okay. At the time, I wasn't in a place to do this book justice and get it to as many people
Hmm.
as I felt needed to see it.
Yeah.
Circumstances brought the book back into our hands, and I told him, I said, "This time, I'm not letting you get away." So we're publishing the book. It hits comic stores. We already have a date for it. It's going to be May 31st of this year.
Nice.
The previews book that comes out at your local comic book shop
Yeah.
this Wednesday or next Wednesday. I can't remember which Wednesday it is. You can pick that book up and you can order it through that previews issue.
Hmm.
We're going to be doing all kinds of other things. Series 3 of our Advent Universe trading cards. We do trading cards. And that
Nice.
actually, as quiet as kept, has been blowing up. Every Kickstarter has been getting more progressively,
Yeah.
that we've done for it. It's been progressively more intense. More people are seeing that we're doing the trading cards.
Yeah.
Series 3 is 100 card base card series. We're 90% done. We're doing the chase cards. We're going to have hologram cards. We're going to have a new section of cards called the icon cards.
Nice.
Iconic creators who have done work at Advent over the years. We pay homage to them and pay privilege to them by giving them their own trading cards.
That's awesome.
We're going to see that. We're doing other things that I can't say just
No
yet.
problem. Yeah. Understand. Yeah.
Just know that you're going to get sick of seeing Advent Comics in 2023. But I hope that you stick with us. And if you've never tried Advent before, just give us a try. We have, like I said, all kinds of genres. You're going to love us if you give us a try.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think before we leave, one good thing, and you kind of mentioned it, is you also distribute through Diamond, correct?
Yeah, we distribute through Diamond as well.
So you could go to your local comic book store
yeah.
and you could have them order any of the comics that are under the Advent brand, correct?
You can find Advent Comics on our website, adventcomics.com. You can also find us at Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
nice,
Comixology Unlimited. You can find us on sites like Drive Through Comics, Indie Planet. We're on Kindle. You name it, you can find us. Like I said, your comic book shops have our books. If you don't see Advent on your shelves, go to your comic shop and tell them you want Advent Comics. They'll put it in there. Or you can just go straight to the previews that comes out to your shop every month.
Yep.
And you can get Advent Comics through there.
Perfect. Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate it. Thank you for giving us some of your time this morning to learn more about Advent Comics. I'm a huge fan. I know hopefully when this video gets out, a lot more people will be exposed to your brand because you're putting together some amazing comic books, and I think the world needs to hear about it.
Oh, well, thank you, Thomas. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to be on your show. Yep. And anytime that you would have me back, I am there. And I promise next time that I'm going to turn on my microphone and my camera so that you guys can see me. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, Tony.
I just woke up and I thought I had it on.
It's all good.
And showing you different things, and it wasn't even on, so I feel like a klutz. But next time, I promise I'll do a better job.
No worries, Tony.
If you and your fans will have me back, I would love to be back.
We would definitely have you back, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, Thomas.
All right, Tony. We'll have a great morning, and we'll talk soon.
Definitely, my friend. Definitely. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.